Welcome. This is our Afterthoughts segment where we keep our guests around for some extended conversation after our broadcast show. With us today are Robin Zinchuk, the Executive Director of Bethel Area Chamber of Commerce, Charlie Colgan, the Associate Director of the University of Maine Center for Tourism Research and Outreach, and Bill Hahn, Owner and General Manager of the Country Inn in Rockport and Cedar Crest Inn in Camden. Thank you for sticking around. We had a couple of really good but quick segments earlier, and this is our chance to kind of relax and talk a little bit more about some of those topics. So, and don't worry about it. Nobody's watching. Just the World Wide Web. You can say anything you want. Don't worry. We were talking before we started in the break. It was interesting. Kind of, we ended up our session on the broadcast about what's the innovation, what's going on, and Robin, you were talking about the real innovation is about how we package this thing, and that's where we need to go. And Charlie, you were saying something on the break. Tell us what you're talking about with the cruise ship example that you were giving.
Well, over the last 2 decades, the fastest growing tourism market segment in the world is cruise ships. And you have to think about cruise ships not as ships, but as hotels that you take with you. Not only hotels, but restaurants, gyms, daycare for the kids, plus the opportunity to see something new every day. And all of that for one price, and you don't have to worry about any part of it. It's all organized for you. So this is the one thing with in Maine, with our very large number of small businesses, each of which is offering a very specialized service, and in ways that in the past have been very comfortable for people. Today people are looking for that package, as Robin was talking about earlier, and so the combination of what I'll call the cruising, or as Bill was pointing out, the bus tour experience with the information technology revolution gives us the opportunity in Maine to repackage our small businesses into something that looks big and much more organized than it actually has been in the past.
Right, right, or at least looks organized. That's it doesn't have to be organized, it has to look that way.
At least on the web.
That's right, exactly. That's right. So is that happening, and will businesses, because we are a bunch of small businesses, even in the tourism business, Bill, will you be able to work with other restaurants and experienced people and ski folks to be able to put these packages together? And
I'm sure we can. I think there's a certain amount of negativity in the hotel profession, because packages in the past, every time we get into a recession, somebody says you got to package things. I think we do. I think that the traveler is experiential now, not just returning.
Is that because hotel owners hear packaging as my price point is going to go down, my percent of it's going to be cut? No,
I think it's past experience.
Okay.
People have tried that. I have packages on my website. I would bet we didn't sell 2 of them last summer. So for me, it's not so much can I work with the guy down the street and put a package together. It's then how do I get that package exposed to somebody that's actually going to find it? Because coming through my website and clicking on the button that's down 14 buttons down really isn't working. So there's got to be another approach to that.
Yeah, it's a way you market it, I think, and it's typically the lodging owner is the one that has to pull the pieces together, collect all the money, disperse the money. So there's the majority of the work falls on people that are in the lodging industry. But I have to say that it's going to be essential, and the state is committed. At the last Tourism Commission meeting, we talked about potentially having a specialist, a packaging specialist, assigned to each region to actually really handhold people through the process, because there's concerns about liability and other kinds of things when you're sending your guests to an experience, and whether or not it's going to be safe or this or that. But we have a lot to learn from other places in the world that have been doing it for a long time and have been very successful. And
you were talking about kind of the ability to put this together too. I'm an outsider. I'm not an industry insider. I'm an outsider. And when I look at it, and I was just getting prepared for the show, it seems a bit fragmented to me. And maybe it's not, but there's certainly a lot of organizations that are working on it. You've got obviously the Office of Tourism, Maine Tourism Association, the Innkeepers Association, the regional marketing, the regional chambers. Everybody's got their own kind of organization, the downtown groups, etc. Will they be able to work together? Who's coordinating this thing?
I think that people need help. And so I think the office is committed, the Maine Office of Tourism is committed to trying to figure out how we can get some packaging experts, and there are packaging experts out there, deployed out into the regions to work with communities, to work with the actual lodging properties and experience providers to make this kind of thing happen, to walk them through the process, to show them that it's not really as difficult as it appears. And then also how to market it, how to place it on your website or whatever marketing tool you're using to make it easy for the customer to get to the cash register to buy it.
Yeah, to be able to find it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Because I see it as if I was out there and I wanted to go hiking in Mid-Coast Maine, that's probably what I'm going to Google. I'm not going to Google the country inn and then see if they've got a hiking package there, you know, and that's that piece that I think there's a couple of pieces. Like you say, a lot of us are small businesses, so yeah, we sit around and think about that stuff this time of year. In about 2 months, you can't think about any of it anymore. All you can do is change beds and think about it again next winter. So, you know,
and all the more reason then that there needs to be some chambers
coordination
doing it, or the
Yeah.
Office of Tourism that are really looking for how to pull that together. Charlie, I wanted to come back to you and have you tell us about the Center for Tourism Research and Outreach. Tell us, you know, what that is, what you're doing, and what benefit is it to the industry?
Well, several years ago, the governor held a Blaine House conference on natural resources, and in the course of that, one of the issues that came up was that the University of Maine system has a great deal of resources for agriculture, forestry, fisheries, our classic natural resource industries, but very little in the way of tourism, which is actually the biggest and by far the most fastest growing of our resource industries. And so the Center for Tourism Research and Outreach, which is a joint center between the University of Maine and the University of Southern Maine, I'm the associate director, but I'm at USM, was created. And we've worked over the years on a number of research projects. We're currently working on a long-term trend analysis for tourism in Maine and some of our competitive states and nationally. We've also done some work to help organize thoughts about how the University of Maine system and the community college system might be better involved in creating an educated and trained workforce for the tourism industry, and have been working with the Office of Tourism and the Tourism Commission for dealing with some of that. So we're trying to bring the resources of the University of Maine system, particularly USM and UM, to the tourism industry in a way that the agriculture and forestry industries have had for a long time.
So how do chambers or individual business people who own businesses in the tourism industry, how do they access that?
Yeah, my colleague Harold Daniel at the University of Maine works with the Tourism Commission quite a bit.
Okay.
We've done some studies with some of the regional organizations. We helped the city of Bangor do an economic impact study on their folk festival. So there are a lot of different things that we've done over the few years that we've been in existence, and are always willing to help where we can.
Okay. You mentioned festivals, and that was one of the things I wanted to bring up, because I think that's, maybe it gets back to that packaging thing, I'm not sure, but how do...
No, events are king, in my opinion. Events are the tipping point. When somebody is considering coming, you know, maybe to one place over another, and they're going on the web to whatever, the Camden site or the Bethel site, and they see that there's a fun event going that really celebrates the heritage of the community, or the arts heritage of the community, or music heritage of the community, or food, lobsters, you know, those kinds of things. That is really the tipping point.
Final question, because I'm way over, but I'm always way over. But I did want you to answer this. I want you to get your grade for the Office of Tourism. You know, we've had kind of a shift in the Office of Tourism over the last 4 years. Pat Altman's there. We have a kind of a new administration, a new approach to many of the marketing and some of their strategies. How are they doing? Well, give them a grade. Bill?
I'd give them an A or B.
Good.
I think in the current thinking and where they're going.
Okay. You know, I'm involved right deep into it, being the chair of the Tourism Commission.
Good.
I see the office as a group of extremely hard and dedicated workers. Pat's been great. She's a fierce defender of the tourism industry, and I think it's right up there, an A.
Okay. A, B. You're the tiebreaker.
Well, since the Office of Tourism provides the major funding for Centro, I'll plead nolo contendere.
You should give him an A. Thank you again. We're going to stop right there. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you all.